assumed duty at the Ministry of Defense, Ship House, Abuja. Musa, appointed on Tuesday by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu following the resignation of former Minister Muhammad Madaru, was confirmed by the Senate on Thursday. His appointment, welcomed across various sectors, is expected to further strengthen defense operations, with many citing his record of firm and innovative leadership as defense chief between 2023 and 2025. New minister arrived at the ministry at about 11:10 a.m., inspected the quarter guard in line with military tradition, and exchanged pleasantries with service chiefs and top officials on arrival. Let's hope he can bring a new vista of hope to the security architecture in Nigeria. Whether I like it or not, things are certainly not in the best shape at the moment as it relates to insecurity. And that's the major thrust of our discussion today. We're talking about the Boko Haram insurgency. We're talking about ISWAP, talking about banditry that is taking a toll on the 6th geopolitical zone. No zone is spared, and this has come into the situation that we're in now. We hope that General Christopher Musa can lead a new defense structures to deal with these issues head on. A little bit of politics. A court party faction has moved to halt Osun governorship primaries. A faction of their court party launched a legal action before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, seeking to void the party's forthcoming Osun State governorship primaries and to affirm the suspension of the party's national chairman, Maxwell Ugbudem. The suit, filed on December 3, 2025, was instituted by Oliver Bitrus, who listed the Accord Party, Ugbudem, and of course the Independent National Electoral Commission as the first, second, and third defendants. Bitrus, represented by counsel Daniel Diachi, contends that Ugbudem and his deputy chief Okeonwosu were duly suspended by a faction of the party over alleged anti-party activities, adding that the faction subsequently appointed Professor Chris Imumele as replacement, relying on a federal high court judgment that recognizes him as the lawful national leader. And finally, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has slammed President Tinubu's nomination of ex-INEC chair as ambassador. Atiku Abubakar criticized Tinubu's nomination of Mahmood Yakubu, the immediate past chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, for ambassador's post, saying that if he were president of Nigeria, he would never nominate a past INEC chairman as an ambassador. In a statement posted on his X handle on Thursday, he said he would not consider such a move, insisting it would send the wrong signals to the public and undermine trust in the electoral system. Okay, with this, I say welcome to the show, Politics Today, coming to you live on independent television and radio, and that's because it's a simulcast. And I'm Sonny Duke Okosun. Today on the show, we'll look at the challenge, the burgeoning problem of insecurity in the country, and we're bringing it to the global parliament to give us insight on what new strategies needs to be adopted to take on head-on this big monster that is beginning to take a toll on Nigeria politically, socially, morally, just name it. All right, and I'd like to welcome our panelist. Uyosa is joining us from the UK. Uyosa is a cybersecurity expert. Uyosa Adobo, many thanks again for joining us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Good to see you, and compliments of the season.
Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you. Compliments.
Thank you. We also have Dr. Osaze Iyoha, a development economist, who is also joining us virtually from Canada. Dr. Osaze, it's always a delight to have you on the program. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I wouldn't know if Dr. Osaze can hear me. Can you hear me, Dr. Osaze? Can you hear me?
The mic is mute. The mic.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sonny. It's nice to be here.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. We're also expecting another panelist to join us from Canada, former Chairman of Ovia Southwest Local Government, Honorable Morrison Ogunobo Ovia. Morrison, if you're live with us on the show, just say something to us so we can know you're there with us. Good to have you on board the program. Compliments of the season. Okay, we hope you'll be able to join us much later. Now, for most analysts, dealing with the insecurity challenge in Nigeria is beyond political appointment. As a matter of fact, it's beyond appointment. It's more about us telling ourselves the truth and allowing the truth to guide our actions and inactions going forward. General Christopher Musa is now in the saddle as the Minister of Defense. As some say, he has both the political powers and he also has the professional experience and competence to deal with this issue. What are the expectations like? I can tell you for sure and for free, they are quite high. But what does he need to do differently to change the story about the insecurity situation in Nigeria? That's the question we are asking this morning. Let me begin with Uyosa Adobo joining us from the UK. You're following the sequence in the last couple of years, and just when you think that the insecurity situation is being tackled, something drastic happens. I mean, we watched with serious concern in the last few weeks where we've been seeing kidnappings left, right, back, especially young people, children from schools, even though we've been told that some have been rescued, some are still incarceration. Give me your take on what strategies, new strategies that needs to be adopted to deal with this challenge.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Son. I believe the issue of insecurity is not just affecting one geopolitical zone, it's affecting the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria. And every state literally is having its own fair share. So there's a need for national unity for us to come together as a nation to ask ourselves the question, how long can we live with this level of insecurity? People are literally scared living their home. So there's a need for us to come together and tell ourselves the truth. But like I've always say, insecurity in Nigeria is very political, highly political. So as such, it's like I always say, when somebody who stole your rope is helping you to look for your rope, you're never going to find it. So a lot of government personnel, top government personnel, they are also benefiting from this insecurity that we have in Nigeria. That's why it's very difficult to tackle this insecurity. But like I said, it's not about the strategies. It's all about ensuring, putting measures that people who reach, people who should be able to make example. Because the last time when I was watching on you, I saw how a Boko Haram, a leader of Boko Haram, who was convicted, was given 20 years. That doesn't send proper signal, because that kind of person could also get a presidential pardon in later on. These people should be fired. These people should be killed. So we need to be sending strong message. So on looking at the strategies at which we can actually tackle this, we are even lucky that the people, the Boko Haram and ISWAP, they have not even gone so digital, because now we'll be fighting a lot of war. If you look at the war that is currently going on, people like the ISIS, they are not just fighting physical war, they are fighting both digital wars, they are fighting both cyber war. So we haven't gotten to that, but very soon, if we don't tackle all of these issues, we're going to be having even cyber war in Nigeria. So for me, the first thing is, as I said, we need to run what we call surveillance, a high-level surveillance on top military officers and also top government functionaries. Because the last time when, up to date, we are still asking the question, who gave the order? Who asked the military personnel to leave the school when those kids were abducted? So we still haven't found that. But this is not going to happen in the US. It's not going to happen in the United Kingdom. They're going to fish the people out immediately. So nobody's still able to tell us who actually made those orders. So it tells us the fact that we are not being serious. We are not taking this security issue seriously, as is a thing as grievous as that. So first of all, we need to run surveillance, because I believe that our military is already corrupt, is already infiltrated already. So we need to be able to bring out the bad eggs from there. So we need to run a surveillance on this top military personnel to know who is leaking our information, who is giving that intelligence to this Boko Haram. So that's the first aspect we have to look. Then two, again, we also have to do what we call OCO, which is the offensive cyber operation. And what we are trying to do is to ensure that we look for a way to dismantle these people, disable all their digital assets. Because these guys, they communicate their channels, whatever they communicate with their websites and everything. We need to be able to dismantle all of these persons. Because if they cannot communicate, for you to be able to carry out an attack, it's a coordinated, what call it, approach, and that requires information, passing of information up. So if we're able to get access to these people, how do they communicate? How do they plan the attacks? So these are very important. So we also have to run a cyber operation. Then we also have to look at intelligence gathering, checking these top military personnel and how they infiltrate our system. Then again, I also said it, if you look at most of these Boko Haram, look at these bandits, it hurts me. If you look at the weapon that these guys have, AK-47, our police officers, military personnel, they don't even have the weapons that these guys have. So we also need to invest on our equipment. Some of the military, I was watching a video when I watched a military officer, a retired military officer, was talking about how his rifle, he was trying to fire, his rifle was not working. The rifle that they gave to him is longer dated. So we need to invest on our equipment, because you cannot have this bandit carrying AK-47 and we cannot even equip our local vigilante, we cannot equip our police force, we cannot equip our military very well. So it's also a problem. So we have to do that as well. So equip our military personnel, equip our police, new technology. We are fighting, we are at war with this bandit, we are at war with Boko Haram, we are at war with herdsmen. So we need to invest on our technology. It's very important.
All right, thank you very much, Uyi. Yeah. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Dr. Osaze Iyoha, I've heard people say that the biggest challenge that we have in the fight against insecurity, especially in the northern part of the country, is that you have financiers there, you have sympathizers there, you have all categories of leadership that is openly and sometimes tacitly in support of what these people are doing. And then you have the business part of it, which means poverty is also a major factor that we're seeing influencing all of this. And today, many of the people who at one time or the other were involved in supporting these guys, they are well known. And it doesn't look like government is doing anything about them anytime soon. We can recall very vividly the case of Sheikh Gumi, who was rejected in Saudi Arabia. He wasn't allowed to go for the Hajj because of questions around him as it relates to some of these issues we're talking about. I'd like you to build on that as a start-off point.
Yes, so it's unfortunate. So I would just say that Uyosa just took my words from my mouth, because he has probably said everything. It's not a lack of strategies or an inadequacy of strategy that's the cause of the insecurity. It's rather political will. We've never been short of strategy. I've heard it said many times, and that's the complete fact, that the Nigerian army, it's probably one of the finest in the world. Like, we have a history of their contributions in ECOMOG. In fact, in the last decade, the Nigerian army has been has been in front in Africa as a whole. So it's not a problem with our army, it's not a problem with our strategy, it's just the political will. It's just the fact that this insecurity has become a business. It's almost like Goodluck Jonathan said it during his administration, that Boko Haram had infiltrated his government, and it's now very clear. Look at, I was watching the Senate section about a week ago, and we had senators complaining as if just like how citizens like us would be in the restaurant and lamenting. The Senate president was giving a trail of the whole incident, how it happened. The Senator Baribe had given his own side. The Senate president was literally lamenting to us. He was, the senators were just discussing the issue like how we do it. So it's almost like a business. How do you explain the fact that a general was murdered? I remembered when two soldier men were beaten at Uniben main gate. Then I was around school, and they did everything to pacify them. The school administration went to S&T Barrack and begged them. Yet in the evening, they still came in and beat students. So I mean, it was just soldiers who were beaten, but this time a general was killed. I mean, and nothing has happened. There's very evidential report that a general ordered that the troops should be withdrawn during in the school where they were guarding, and reports. This was the Senate president himself giving the whole analysis that the troops called the students during the day and were teaching them martial arts. We're teaching them how to dodge bullets. We're teaching them how to hide, how to. So this was like a premeditated action, because if you were there to defend them, then why are you training them? So they trained them in the afternoon on the field for like 2-3 hours, according to the Senate president's account. Then in the evening, there was an order for them to leave. So you see that these are all orchestrated. Look at the budget. Defense has always gotten the highest share. In the last budget, this 2025 budget, defense has about 10% of the total budget. The total budget is about 54 trillion. Defense alone has about 5 trillion. Education is just about 2.5 trillion. Health is about, so health and education combined is just a little over defense by just 1%. Health and education allocation combined in the budget is about 11%. Defense alone is about 10%. So you see that it's a business. And when you look at the budget, what will it be? They will tell you that, oh, they are feeding each troop, member of the troop, with 10,000 naira per meal. Meanwhile, those guys are probably not eating up to 300 naira. They will tell you they are budgeting this for bullets, for ammunitions, for jet fighters, for jet A fuel. Meanwhile, none of this, there are probably no helicopters in the air. So you see that it's just a business. See, I used to tell some of my friends, during military administration, the way these military presidents make money, like Abacha's time, is that they just call the CBN governor and print money for me, print so and so amount and send it to my Swiss account. But you can't do that in democracy because there are laws. The CBN Act has laws. The last printing that we did under Buhari administration has left us in soup. So the way democratic administrations make money is contract. That's the only way they make money. Contract to provide food for the troops. Contract to, they'll tell you that they are changing their uniform every 6 months. Meanwhile, probably in the last 5 years, some of them haven't changed. You've had military men who have left, who have either resigned or who ran away from the army. We know Femi Falana's son has been defending most of those who escaped, and they've been, so most of them have said the same thing, that they are going on an attack to Boko Haram, and members of the army give intelligence to these people. So it's just political will. We can do all the strategies from beginning to end until the politicians see themselves. I was happy you brought Sheikh Gumi's account up. This is Mecca. I mean, the home of Muslims, the home of religious in Islam. They were not comfortable with him coming. They returned him immediately at the airport. They didn't even allow him enter. And this is someone that we'd have this is someone that we negotiate with constantly. He's like the go-to person. The government, he's like an authority. He tells us what we want. He tells us that we gave amnesty to the South Niger Delta youth. We should give it to them. He's an authority. He's a voice. So, and this is someone who the home of Islam has rejected. So UK has also banned him from entering. US has banned him from entering major countries, and he's like an idol with us. They were interviewing Bayo Onanuga and asking him how the girls were released, and he said he used the word that they were released. How? Did you pay ransom? He said no, that DSS reached out to them. So it's just appalling. And the point is, from an economic point of view, is that it's so unfortunate. Sometimes I bleed. It's because trust is the game of business. When you have issues, the American government just designated us as countries of particular concern. Immediately, Trump made that statement. The next day, the Nigerian stock market lost by 1.3 trillion naira. I mean, 1.3 trillion naira. So trust is the game of the business. By the time we are losing global trust, we have almost become a caricature. So just to answer your question straightforward, it's not a lack of strategy. It's just a will not to, it's just a political will because people are benefiting. People get alerts every day. They just sit down in their house, home and alerts come for feeding troops,
Dr. Yo,
probably.
have you seen it? Have you seen any of those alerts? Have you
Um,
seen any of those alerts?
because those budgets, okay, where has 6 trillion, where has nine, okay, 5 trillion, 5.79 trillion in the budget for the defense gone? We bought Tucano aircraft, if you remember, we bought
But
Tucano aircraft.
there's also no evidence that the entire tranche of that money, 6 trillion or over 6 trillion, actually got to the defense ministry, as it were, because that's also part of the challenge. Those monies were budgeted for. What is the evidence that all of those monies got to the defense ministry? Yeah.
So the next question will be, why did it not get that if at all it wasn't released? Then
Yeah.
the next question also will be that if there is really a genuine interest in getting this war fought, then why has the defense authorities, why have they not come up with, because the last budget they said it was implemented 75%. This budget, we are being told by the budget office that last 2 weeks when the head of the budget office made a statement, said 70%, it has been implemented 70%. So let's just assume out of 5 to about 3. And the report, if you listen, has been that the president has always said that he does not hold back defense budget. He has said it severally, that even if all budgets have been held, Ali Ndume, the senator representing Borno, he has been until recently, he has always been the head of the Senate Committee on the Armed Forces, has
Yeah.
always repeated that the defense budget is always released up to date. Okay, let's even go to the Tucano aircraft. That was the issue of contention during Buhari's administration. He wanted US to approve the Tucano aircraft, and there was a back and forth about it. It has been approved. During Buhari's time, they bought about, the last time they asked Baya Anoduga, why are we not using this Tucano? Like I said, that it's going to lead to mass destruction if they are not able to select their target. So why did you buy it in the first place? Trillions of naira was budgeted for this. And the essence of that was that yet what we were told was that it would be able to select targets. So the
Yeah.
Tucano aircraft are probably just doing cobweb somewhere, but they said it works. So it's
Okay.
it's just a lack of will. Yeah.
All right, let me pause you there, Dr. Iyoha. I'll come back to you. If you just join us, it's still Politics Today, reaching you live on independent television and radio. We'll take a short break. When we return, we have more to talk about as we look at the state of insecurity in Nigeria, especially against the background of some of the latest development, the President Donald Trump's comments about Nigeria being a country of concern, and then the appointment of a new Minister of Defense, and then the calls for the sacking of the Minister of State for Defense, who some say doesn't even have a school cert. So how did he get to such an exalted position? How did he become a governor in the first place? These and lots more when we return on Politics Today on independent television and radio. Stay with us. On independent television and radio this lovely Saturday morning. Still on the state of insecurity in the country and the need to adopt new strategies. Perhaps the comments made by President Donald Trump became a wake-up call to the federal government to see how they can make some changes in the architectural structure of security and see how that will pave the way forward. But if not for the resignation of the former Minister of Defense, perhaps a man like General Christopher Musa won't be in the saddle. Maybe this is divine intervention. But there have been calls that Matawalle, the Minister of State for Defense, should not be part of the new regime in the ministry. The concern is that if we have the man in charge, sacked or resigned, his deputy should also resign. Let me get your take on this, Uyowosa, as we look at some of the bold steps being taken by Mr. President to deal with this issue. And then we also have on the background the congressional voting about Nigeria when this issue of genocide against Christians came to the fore. We've heard that the Congress voted in favor of a decisive action from Mr. President, talking about President Donald Trump in dealing with that issue. You started by saying that unless and until we have a uniformity of purpose amongst critical stakeholders, we are not moving forward, especially with some of the reports that are coming from some leaders in the North who are tacitly supporting, openly supporting. Some have been alleged to have been involved in sponsoring bandits and their spouses abroad. Some have been alleged to be involved in the emergence of Boko Haram and all of these issues.
Yeah, sorry, like I said, you see, it's worrisome to think that at this time we are still asking ourselves, do we need external forces such as the United States to come into Nigeria to help us with this insecurity we're facing? That shouldn't be a question, because we have shown time and time that we are incapable. We are completely incapable. We need help. It is not shameful when you need help to ask for help. So at this stage, we need help to solve our insecurity problem. Except, like we already know, it is all politics and people are making a fortune out of this. So for me, I think the need for the Western world, take America for example, to come into Nigeria and help us solve our insecurity problem is something that we don't have to emphasize, overflog. It is very obvious. Then if you look at over time, we have shown that we are a nation that are not ready, because way back from even during the time of Jonathan, we all were here in this country when we had the bad Dasuki Gate, how somebody took money, a budget meant for the military, and so much amount of money was missing. So if that has happened, so it's just like I said, it's a ripple effect. It's what we are finding today is something that it was just working. We're just adding to the level of incompetence, level of like decadence that everything has happened over time. So it's just like a continuation of them. And because we are not taking any decisive measures to ensure that anybody who is found guilty, anybody who is found wanting his collaboration with this will be dealt with decisively, we will not find a headway. That's our problem. So for me, it's a welcome call that the Congress in America, they voted for a decisive action to be taken in Nigeria. This is a welcome development, something that we all Nigerians, every meaningful way Nigerians has been hoping for, and we are happy. And we're just going to look at how they are going to come in and help us solve this, because obviously at this point in time, I don't think the government knows what they're doing. Because
let me just take you on one point.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about, they're a bit excited at the opportunity of having maybe the U.S. come to Nigeria's aid and all of that. But it's on record that the U.S. Overtly or covertly may have also helped in some sense to allow insecurity to fester in Nigeria. Take, for example, in the days of yore when former President Goodluck Jonathan was in the saddle. He made frantic efforts to get certain categories of equipment and ammunition. All of these were blocked. We can't forget in a hurry how a private jet was intercepted and impounded in South Africa. We later got to find out that that private jet was actually trying to help the government get funds to those who were willing to sell arms and ammunition to Nigeria at the time, after the U.S. under President Barack Obama blocked it. So it's sort of crazy now. The same government that didn't give Nigeria the needed support at the time to get the right equipment and ammunition to take on these guys is now coming out today to say they want to help. Do you think this is really, really genuine? Oui.
Yes, if you look at the global stage, even the current fight between Israel and Iran and every other state, you discover that there are a list of countries, numbers of countries who have actually supported Israel when they started their fight with the Iran and other neighboring countries that were fighting there. But over time, you see some of these Western nations, like like United Kingdom, they all made a shift. They said, no, we can't support you again. This has to be done. So this is politics. During when Jonathan was in power, a lot of external forces wanted Jonathan out for their own personal reasons. America is not coming to Nigeria to help us for free. They have an interest. So, and they have always had an interest. The United Kingdom also have an interest. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is at every point in time, what serves their interest and what strategy, that's what they go for. So, but what we should look at, because of the fact that we know that these people were also part of our initial problem, does not mean that they are providing solution and we shouldn't take it. We know the capability of Americans. We know what they can do. We know what, if they decide to come into Nigeria, how well they will be able to help us. But we also know that it's going to come with a cost. And no foreign nation can come into your country to engage your security issues without talking with your security chiefs, without having a blueprint on how this operation is going to go out. So it's going to be a plan. So we need to know what they are offering us, and it is left for our service chiefs to tell ourselves that yes, we are okay with it. Yes, we know that they have been part of the problem, but we are not going to look at it because somebody offended you or somebody did something to you back then, and the person has a clear path, has a clear way to help you to solve your problem. You say you are not going to accept that. So that's not good. That's
okay.
Not
Let me pause you there again. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you in just a moment. Dr. Saze, let's talk about one major thing that has been trending in recent times is Mr. President's remarks of supporting the adoption of state police across the Federation. And I think the Southern governors in a meeting recently also came out strongly to say they support this initiative, except that people were concerned that in that meeting, they dressed in an ashobi as if they were going for a party. Instead of, it was supposed to be a security meeting, but they dressed in ashobi as if they were going for a party, and that became a very low point in that meeting. But be that as it may, give me your take on this issue of creating state police to be able to complement what we already have to drive out insecurity in our land. Whether we like it or not, I mean, we've had series of kidnappings, even in Edo State, in recent times, and that means these bad guys are just everywhere. And it doesn't look like governments at different level really have the capacity to confront these guys head on. And that's why this whole thing seems to be fledgling. Let me get your take on this.
Yes. So very straight on that, I have a problem with the way we try to solve our issues in our country. We seem to always want to find a soft way to avoid confronting the issue. So for me, it's never been an issue of state police or federal police. It's just been political will, back to political will again. Because see, state police, I fear I fear that if governors have control over their police, I don't know what will happen to political opponents. I mean, a governorship, if I come that I want to be governor of Edo State, and the governor has, or any states without any specification, the governor has control over the police. I'm not sure I'll be allowed to spend 2 days in that state before they will chase the other opponent out. So I have a problem with. I don't think state police. We had state police during the regional days of Awolowo and so on. So it's just been like regurgitating our problems. There was a time we were practicing parliamentary system. They said, "Oh, parliamentary system is the problem. We need to go to presidential." We came to presidential, and there's a talk of going back to parliamentary. We were doing 5-3-1 or so education system. They said, "Oh, 6-3-3-4 is the best." And now we are thinking of going back. So we keep going around in circles until we see it's just about political will and a decision to allow things work. Until we start doing that, we'll just state police. If the IG is working in consonance with the governor, I don't think whether it's the state government that is controlling it or it's the federal police that is controlling it. it will never be a problem. In a situation, a situation where you have strong men, I've always said that in economies, in countries where you know the leaders, there's hardly ever going to be development. When you go to, I don't probably USA or whoever is in other countries outside Nigeria, you don't even know the name of your mayor. You don't know the name of your governor. You don't know the name of your person. In fact, on news, you hardly hear the president. 3 months, you barely hear the president's name. But in our country, before the person even eats, he says, thank Mr. President for providing this food for me. So by the time you keep hearing strong men, so there's so much emphasis on men. So I'm just tying it to your question. Until we have a sit down decision that we want to make the country work. It's just like, oh, government is not able to provide water, we now start sinking borehole. Government is not able to do our roads, we start buying SUVs. So we are just looking for another excuse again. State police
Okay.
is not going to solve the problem.
But there's been talk about a semblance of state police already existing in the country. For example, even in the northeast and even northwest, where we have majority of the problem of insecurity, you already have what you call the civilian JTF working working alongside, our regular security agencies to complement their efforts. And then in some northern parts of the country, you have what you call the Hisbah police that seems to be, complementing what the regular, security agents are doing. And back here in the southern part of the country, most states have what you call vigilantes, which is, a semblance of that. But we perhaps just need to really, make the whole process solidified, and then they are properly armed to be able to confront these guys who are also wielding dangerous weapons. And until and unless we do that, I'm not sure we can really make any headway. I know there are concerns about the process being abused, but we haven't even given it a try to know what the challenges are or where the challenges are going to come from, so we know how to rework them, retool them, make all the necessary adjustments, and then get the best out of it. Because as we speak, these guys are in the forests. And if you are not armed, well armed, you can't confront them. The vigilantes that we have, with the kind of equipment that they have or ammunition they have, they really can't confront this guy. But if we have a holistic approach in dealing with this issue, get hunters associations involved, get the Vigilante Network of Nigeria involved, I'm sure at the end of the day, we can make impact. And if there are loopholes, based on the emerging challenges, those challenges can be dealt with. Can you build your argument or presentation along those lines, Dr. Yoha?
I was trying to avoid the strategies of a team, but the point is this: if we really want strategy, we don't even need too much of those men. I was watching the news last week. Enugu state government just launched a command and control center, state of the art. In fact, when I watched it, you go in there, you have AI facilities that it identifies your face from wherever you are. Enugu, their command and control center. So according to the governor, and they have people there who are paid 24 hours. The entire states, even to neighboring states, are covered. So they see whoever is perpetrating whatever at the instant point, so you don't even need men. You just send drones, and according to the governor, they've procured drones. You send drones and you target because the satellite has already. Why people are afraid of America? Because they have over 5,000 satellites in the world. When America came to rescue their citizens, I think during Jonathan's administration, it was a swap attack. It was one night. Most people did not know. It was the next morning they knew that Americans came to rescue their citizens from the bandits. So we don't even need all those. Okay, yeah, we
more
need
technology.
It's technology, simple.
Yeah, we should.
If you've been following the National Assembly also, CCTV was budgeted for Abuja, trillions of naira during Buhari's administration. Nothing was done. So you can imagine a whole city. I mean, the federal capital city. There's no camera.
All right, let me pause you there, Dr. Yoha. I'll come back to you as much as time permits. But our studio line is open, 080-7777-0300. Hello, caller. Good morning. Welcome on board Politics Today. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
It's automatic great from Wilmot State. Thank you, people, for a good job. Yes, if you're putting the cancellation of fathers in this country, in of Africa, I'm also on the insecurity.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying this is a lack of political will. Yes, I've changed service chief many times. Service chief have changed many times. And even the people of defense have changed right now. Telling all these people is not the problem, it's political will. After I change all these people, and things are getting from bad to worse. It's the government they are not willing. I know you can't negotiate with bandits. You don't negotiate with bandits. You don't be in the right country. If the government will negotiate with bandits, after them. How can this is encouraging them to do more?
Okay.
For this time to another state police.
All right, automatic great. Thank you. We don't have so much time, so we can have more callers into the program. I'll be coming to you, Uyowosa, so you can conclude with your contribution on your final and parting words. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. The voice of the ordinary people.
The voice of the ordinary people. Where are you calling us from?
From Benin. From Benin.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, this the problem with this insecurity in the country is that our government, they are not sincere. That's why the problem is many. Dubai government released of people sponsoring terrorists in Nigeria. The government has refused to prosecute those sponsors. Even Saudi Arabia, the same thing. Gumi that you don't mention, that man is moving freely in the street. Nothing happened to him. But look at the way Nnamdi Kanu was arrested in Kenya, far country. They went to arrest him. So these people are here moving inside the country. Nothing happened to them. Sir, I want to just respond to what you said about the former administration of America, Barack Obama. That man, don't say America, they have two parties. We have the Republicans and the Democrats. The Republicans are better off. They support Christians. They support the Christians. Why? Barack Obama was the one that made Jonathan to sign gay marriage. Jonathan refused. That is why he punished Jonathan with all those weapons. He refused to give to Nigeria. But Donald Trump is sent by God.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. 080-7777-0300. That's our studio number. You're live on Politics Today. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Good morning. What's your name?
The Oracle from the GROA.
All right, the Oracle. Please go ahead.
I think your friends, they are very intellectuals. They are very highly endowed with the knowledgeable requisite. They are said it all. Our problem is corruption. Second degree corruption. Third degree is corruption. And some 15 subsection 5 give power to the tiers of government, the local, the state, and the federal to abolish all corrupt practices and abuse of power. But they won't do it because they are making more money from it. That's my case, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Don't forget, you can also follow us on all our social media handles, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and of course, X at ITV Radio NG. You can follow this program there and post a comment there. We'll highlight it on the course of the show. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, tell us your name and where you're calling from. Wishing you the same.
Good morning to panelists, analysts in the house.
Thank you.
My name is Solomon Asaga.
Okay, Solomon, go ahead.
In a situation like Nigeria, sometimes we begin to imagine whether the government are so comfortable or enjoying the insecurity serving in the country. Let me use for example in my state now. I learned that since my governor took over the office, that the lowest amount that will come every month for security vote is 800 million. Then I ask my question, how much are they buying a chopper that we cannot have to move around in the state? If the citizen are now beginning to see the government are making money for the insecurity, you cannot blame the citizen. What is the problem of
fighting with terrorists, those with arms, I feel maybe they are moving to Nigeria. We see them make a broadcast or video or wherever, we cannot track them. And we also have a network provider, which we spend heavily for. So sometimes it's just a pity that over 10 years now, we have been in this quagmire, and we are not leaving the quagmire very soon.
Okay.
Because we see the government celebrating these evil people, these terrorists, and we see the uniform personnel moving around along the road looking for cassava and yam to hold when there are terrorists in the bush. And we see every year we spend a lot of money in security, and security vote must flow every month. So it becomes a regular business for the government. If they feel they are not making money for it, they should save the Nigeria so that we will know where we are heading to.
All right. Thank you, Solomon Ataga. Thank you. I'm afraid that's much time will permit us on the program today. Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. I want to say big thanks to Uyusa, who joined us from the UK. Uyusa is a cybersecurity expert. Uyusa, thank you for your time with us on the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
And Dr. Saze Iyoha, thank you for joining us. He joined us all the way from Canada. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Saze.
Yes, sorry, just before we go, I will just say the appointment of the Minister of Defense. I think we are celebrating too much. The Minister of Defense is a political appointment. He can't give order to even a recruit. So I think it's just cosmetic.
Okay, so we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what he's able to do. Now he's in charge of the ministry. When he was the Chief of Defense Staff, he said, well, people said, well, that's just is a ceremonial head in a sense. He can't do this, he can't do that because he's not a political head. Now he's been made a political head. Some are saying, oh, he can't give a directive to a recruit and all of that. But let's see how all of this will play out in the days to come. That's a package today on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. I'm Sonny Dukukosun, thanking you for staying with us. Have a great weekend. Remember, be security conscious. Bye for now.
Certainly the best.